Today, we will be talking about how do companies make money with free apps and games. If this is your first time on the channel, my name is Zia. I'm a software engineer at Twitter, and I talked about programming, software engineering, and technologies in general on this channel. Let's get into it. As a software engineer, here's my story with free apps and games. So when Facebook came out in 2008 or 9, it was sort of this breath of fresh air in the industry because it provided people an opportunity, a platform to communicate and connect with other people, to share their lives and moments for free. Looking back in that experience, it seems like a no-brainer for us today because most everything that you see are usually provided for free as a software. Back then in 2008, 2009, when software was offered in CDs or in patches where you have to pay a certain amount in order to get that software, Facebook and the rise of free software at the time was seen as unorthodox. Right? People haven't actually seen this in the industry, and it provided a shock to a lot of people who've never actually experienced having free software, having the idea that you can get something on the internet with so much value for free. That's a little bit of the backstory with free software and free apps, and how Facebook has come around, provide their software for free. But there's a catch here. How do these companies actually make money? Now, the first simple thought here is you might think that Facebook, Google, they're making money solely through ads. Essentially, what happens here is you go onto Facebook, you start posting your moments, your photos, your history, chats with other friends, and an advertiser, say like Coca-Cola, comes in and say,
"Hey, Facebook, I want to have an ad campaign where I want to target people ranging from 18 to 34 years old, based in the US. Can you help me advertise to these people?"
Now, obviously, that is definitely one way of generating income. Facebook takes money from advertisers and then show those ads to the audience on the other side. Now, Facebook, Google, and all these other platforms have a lot of information about their audience because, guess what? The audience themselves provided all this content for Facebook and Google. They essentially go on these platforms every single day and post things or comment or show indication of things that they are interested in every single day. As you can imagine, Facebook is now able to monetize all these different intents and take that to advertisers and say, I know exactly who my audience are. Would you be interested in advertising to these people? Now, that is a high value proposition from an advertising perspective because in the traditional form, TV, for example, it wasn't very easy to figure out who your audience was. If you were Coca-Cola, for example, and you're trying to advertise on TV, it's sort of like throwing a coin out into the ocean, hoping to hear something back in response. Now, using traditional TV advertising, you know that you have a large audience. Thousands, millions of people are tuning into TVs every single day, but it's sort of casting this really wide web and trying to see if any of that messaging connects. Second, there is a popular rise of a business model called Freemium, which is a wordplay on free and premium. The idea here is that companies that make apps or games, they would offer you their app for free. And then once they have you hooked into the game or the app, you would have to pay a certain amount in order to access more of their services. Think of it like a trial service where you get access to an app, you use it for a while, maybe like 30 days for free, and then if you want to continue using it, you would have to pay either a subscription fee or a one-time payment in order to access all of their other features for the rest of time. Now, the freemium model is actually really interesting because it lowers the barrier for entry. It allows users to play around with it, to get an idea, a feel for what that game or what that app is offering. And once the companies have you hooked into their service, then that's when they start charging you. Now, I've seen this model work out really well for a wide range of different apps and services, and some of the ones that actually turn out really well are the ones where the freemium model, the trial version of their app, actually provides a wide range of useful services for the regular average Joe. Now, if you want more pro features, then you would have to pay a certain amount in order to access those pro features. Now, you might be thinking, is this a scam? Why are you only giving me a small set of features to let me get hooked and then try to hit me with that big payment at the end of it? For this, I would argue it depends. It depends on how the company promotes and how the company monetizes. There are different ways of doing this freemium model, so it really depends. I don't necessarily call it a scam. I think this is a good way for giving people a way of trying a service before committing to that big payment. Because as you can imagine, for example, like Photoshop, right? Adobe Photoshop. If you wanted to pay for Adobe Photoshop, back then it was about, I think, $1,000 or so for their suite of services. But today, what you could do is you can sign up for a free trial, get a feel for if you like Photoshop or not, and then after 30 days, sure, you can pay the amount if you like their service, but if you don't like it or you feel that you might be able to get a free version, or if you don't need all their pro services, then for sure, just stick with whatever that you have, or maybe find a different service. So that is the second way of how these free apps and games are raking in the money. The third thing here is that funnel building. So this kind of ties into that first point of advertising. But instead of advertising directly to you, the companies actually collect your information and sell that to companies who might be interested in advertising to you directly on their own. So this method of generating income, I call it funnel building. I don't know necessarily if that is the industry term, but in my mind, it has a distinct way of generating income because it's very different, specifically in that in this funnel building business, usually those free apps or games are giving you a website or a platform for you to interact with, where they might provide you some sort of data. A good example of this is Car Gurus. So Car Gurus is a website that allows you to search for and contact people who are selling their used secondhand cars. Now, the way that Car Gurus would make money here is that they provide you a platform that shows all the available secondhand cars around your region or around the country. And once you click into one of those listings, one way for them to generate money is now they collected that data about you, so they know that one, you have an intention to buy a car, 2, they know that you have an intention of buying a certain type of car. So using that information, they are able to package it up and sell that, for example, to a dealership. That is another example of how companies are making money from all these free services. Okay, and that is my perspective on how companies are able to offer free services to you. If you found this video useful, feel free to click that subscribe button, click that notification button, and I will see you in the next video. See ya!